Winter 2025 is shaping up to be a critical moment in the war in Ukraine. Russian missile and drone strikes are intensifying, cities and energy grids are under attack, and the Ukrainian people are bracing for the harshest months yet. Amid this pressure, Zelensky's historic deal with Spain delivers new defense packages, air defense missiles, and €1 billion in long-term support. This deal not only strengthens Ukraine's military ahead of winter, but also sends a powerful message to Russia and Europe. Ukraine is backed by a united and determined continent. Can Europe's commitment tilt the balance in Ukraine's favor this winter and force Russia to the negotiating table? Spain has just made one of its most significant commitments to Ukraine yet, announcing an €817 million $946 million aid package during President Zelensky's visit to Madrid. This is not just a one-off gesture. It is part of a 10-year bilateral security and defense agreement signed in May 2024, which envisions Spain providing €1 billion annually in military assistance to Ukraine. The breakdown of the package makes its strategic intent clear. €300 million is earmarked for direct defense equipment, including advanced radars, anti-drone systems, and ammunition, strengthening Ukraine's frontline capabilities. €100 million will be provided through NATO's prioritized Ukraine requirements list Pearl, allowing Spain to procure US-made military equipment to be delivered directly to Ukraine. €200 million is allocated as credit for companies investing in Ukraine's reconstruction, focusing on energy, transport, and water infrastructure. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez explained the purpose of the package. First, for the Ukrainian army to protect the territorial integrity of Ukraine from the invader. Secondly, to protect the civilian population. And finally, to give an impulse to reconstruction. This multifaceted approach demonstrates that Spain is not just supplying weapons, it is supporting Ukraine's defense, civilian protection, and long-term recovery, creating a robust foundation for Ukraine to withstand Russia's intensified attacks this winter. President Zelenskyy echoed the significance of this aid, emphasizing the urgency. It's important, as this is going on, to feel constant support behind one's back. With the €817 million package, Spain sends a strong signal to both Kyiv and Moscow. Europe is committed, and Ukraine's defense and resilience are being bolstered at a critical moment. One of the most critical components of Spain's aid package is the supply of 40 Iris-T air defense missiles, which Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy highlighted as critically scarce for us during the winter. These missiles are not just another addition to Ukraine's arsenal. They are a lifeline against the escalating waves of Russian drones and cruise missiles targeting cities, energy grids, and military infrastructure. The Iris-T system, developed in Germany and widely regarded as one of the most effective short to medium-range air defense systems, is capable of intercepting aircraft, drones, and incoming missiles with remarkable precision. Ukraine has faced severe shortages of interceptor missiles this winter, making these 40 Iris-T rounds a vital boost to its defensive shield. Zelenskyy emphasized the importance of this reinforcement. I am grateful for the new defense assistance package, which includes air defense missiles. These are critically scarce for us during the winter, and this package specifically includes 40 missiles for the Iris-T air defense systems. This will significantly help us. In addition to the missiles themselves, Spain's package also includes radars and anti-drone technologies, many produced by Spanish companies, to enhance Ukraine's early warning and targeting capabilities. This integrated approach, combining missiles with sensors and anti-drone defenses, strengthens Ukraine's ability to protect both its territorial integrity and its civilian population during one of the most dangerous periods of the war. The Iris-T missiles are more than just military hardware. They are a symbol of European solidarity, a tangible demonstration that Ukraine is receiving the support necessary to survive and push back against Russian aggression while keeping its population safe. Spain's support for Ukraine goes far beyond a simple monetary contribution. It is a strategic signal to Europe, NATO, and Russia that the continent is taking a more active role in shaping the outcome of the war. In 2025, as Russia has intensified its drone and missile attacks, especially targeting Ukraine's energy infrastructure, European countries are realizing that long-term, predictable support is essential. By stepping up, Spain has come under fire from NATO allies for rejecting calls by U.S. President Donald Trump for European members to increase their defense spending to 5% of their gross domestic product. Though it has been vocal in its support for Ukraine and is participating in new NATO Eastern Flank defense missions, Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez pledge signals that Spain is moving beyond symbolic support and positioning itself as a reliable military and diplomatic partner. Strategically, the package also shows Europe's ability to provide multi-year, integrated aid combining military hardware and missiles like the IRIS-T, reconstruction support for energy, water, and transport infrastructure, industrial collaboration via Spanish defense companies. This is significant because it reduces Ukraine's dependence on U.S. political cycles, ensuring that its defense capabilities are not vulnerable to short-term shifts in Washington's policy. Moreover, Spain's move resonates on the diplomatic front. By openly supporting Ukraine while reinforcing its air defenses and reconstruction capacity, Spain sends a clear message to Moscow. Europe will not allow Ukraine to collapse under winter assaults, and it will continue to build leverage in any potential peace negotiations. In short, Spain is demonstrating that Europe is capable, committed, and proactive, reshaping the 2025 geopolitical landscape and providing Ukraine with the resources to fight, survive, and negotiate from strength. Spain's €817 million aid package to Ukraine goes beyond military hardware or reconstruction funds. It reflects a calculated strategy to advance both European and Spanish interests amid the evolving geopolitical landscape. Number 1. Strengthening European security. By providing advanced air defense systems, missiles, and radars, Spain positions itself as a key pillar of Europe's defense and contributes to protecting Ukraine and European stability from further Russian aggression. Number 2. Promoting defense industry leadership. Zelenskyy visited Spanish defense firms like Indra, partly state-owned, highlighting how Spain channels aid to boost domestic defense production, create jobs, and support Ukraine simultaneously. Number 3. Cementing long-term diplomatic leverage. Spain's €1 billion annual commitment ensures Ukraine can count on predictable support, reinforcing Madrid's influence in EU and NATO discussions and future reconstruction planning. Number 4. Balancing geopolitical risks. Spain signals to Moscow that Europe will not let Ukraine collapse, combining defense, reconstruction, and industrial support without escalating militarily. In short, Spain's aid is a strategic, multi-dimensional tool. It strengthens Ukraine's survival, elevates Spain's influence, bolsters Europe's defense base, and shows a united front to Russia. Spain's contribution is a pivotal moment in Zelenskyy's ambitious tour across Europe in November 2025, a carefully coordinated effort to secure military, economic, and diplomatic support for Ukraine during a pivotal moment in the war. The tour began in Greece, where Zelenskyy finalized agreements on new gas supply routes and LNG financing, ensuring that Ukraine's energy needs are met despite ongoing Russian attacks. Next, in France, he signed a historic declaration of intent to purchase up to 100 French-made Rafale F-4 fighter jets over the next decade, along with drones, air defense systems, and guided munitions, a deal aimed at modernizing Ukraine's air force and boosting its long-term defensive capabilities. Spain was the next stop. Here, the €817 million aid package not only reinforced air defense and reconstruction, but also underscored Europe's commitment to a multi-year strategy. It showed that Ukraine is receiving practical, tangible support rather than one-off pledges, and highlighted Spain's role as a major European defense partner. Following Spain, Zelenskyy is scheduled to visit Turkey, aiming to reactivate diplomatic negotiations for a potential ceasefire and lasting peace. This multi-country tour demonstrates a dual strategy. Zelenskyy is simultaneously strengthening Ukraine militarily and building diplomatic momentum across Europe. By connecting energy agreements in Greece, defense modernization in France, military aid in Spain, and diplomatic talks in Turkey, Zelenskyy is sending a clear message. Ukraine is preparing for winter on multiple fronts: defense, diplomacy, and infrastructure, and Europe is standing firmly alongside it. After securing support from Greece, France, and Spain, President Zelenskyy is now turning to Turkey to jumpstart negotiations to end Russia's full-scale invasion. His late November 2025 visit to Ankara aims to discuss a just peace for Ukraine with President Erdogan. Turkey has previously mediated low-level talks, including prisoner exchanges and grain corridor agreements, and will now host discussions on ceasefire terms, security guarantees, and long-term stabilization. The path is challenging. Russia has stated it will not send representatives, and U.S. participation remains uncertain. As Zelenskyy noted, "We see some positions and signals from the United States. Well, let's see tomorrow." The timing is critical. Ukraine continues long-range strikes in Russian-held territories, while Russia targets cities and energy grids. Zelensky's mission is more than diplomacy. It's a strategic effort to leverage European and global support, showing that Ukraine seeks peace from a position of strengthened military and economic resilience. As Ukraine rallies European support, Russia is applying pressure both on the battlefield and through diplomatic ambiguity. The Kremlin continues to escalate missile and drone attacks across Ukraine, targeting energy infrastructure, military positions, and urban centers. In Donetsk, Ukrainian strikes have hit Russian-controlled 2 thermal power plants, leaving hundreds of thousands without electricity, while Russian attacks in Kharkiv and Dnipro have caused civilian casualties and widespread damage. Moscow is also using the diplomatic stage to maintain leverage. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov reiterated that there will be no Russian representative in Turkey, while simultaneously claiming that Russia remains ready to negotiate. This contradictory stance reflects a classic geopolitical tactic, signaling openness to dialogue without giving up battlefield or strategic advantage. At the same time, Russia faces mounting international pressure. The United States is set to implement heavy sanctions targeting Rosneft, Lukoil, and other critical oil infrastructure, aiming to cut funding for Russia's war machine. These measures, coupled with Europe's multi-billion euro military and reconstruction support to Ukraine, are squeezing Moscow both economically and militarily. Russia's strategy appears focused on sustaining attrition, testing Europe's resolve, and exploiting uncertainties in U.S. participation in diplomatic initiatives. Yet, the combination of advanced European air defenses, long-range Ukrainian strikes, and coordinated sanctions is steadily constraining Moscow's options. In essence, Russia is under strategic pressure on multiple fronts: military setbacks, economic sanctions, and Europe's unified commitment to Ukraine. The coming winter will likely determine whether Moscow can maintain its current campaign or is forced to seriously consider diplomatic negotiations. Winter 2025 is shaping up to be a decisive moment for Ukraine, Europe, and the broader balance of power in Eastern Europe. With Spain's €817 million aid package, advanced Iris-T missiles, and Zelensky's diplomatic push through Turkey, Europe is sending a clear message: Ukraine will not face Russia alone. The coming months will test the resilience of Ukraine's defenses, the unity of European support, and the Kremlin's willingness to negotiate. As Zelenskyy balances military strength with diplomatic engagement, one question remains: can coordinated European action tip the scales and secure a just peace for Ukraine? Before winter leaves no room for delay,